it's Shelly with Pastry Shells, and today I'm going to show you how to make these beach bachelorette cookies. First, we're going to start with the beach ball, and you're going to use a circle-shaped cookie, and you're going to use all flood consistency icing. I like to make my flood consistency icing thicker so that it'll still settle all flat, but it'll keep its shape a lot better. So I free-handed the shape of my beach ball, but you can feel free to use an edible marker to mark out your line so you make sure that it's right. So here I did the first triangle as blue, and I let that crust over for about 30 minutes to an hour. And then I started with my next color, which I did white on either side of the blue. You will notice that the center of my beach ball is off-centered. I kind of wanted it to look like it was up in the air and not just this, a straight-on picture of a beach ball. So if you want to change the center of your beach ball, you can feel free to do that. Like I said, it's a lot easier if you use an edible marker to trace out where you want your triangles to go. Just make sure that you make the shape of your triangles with curved edges so that it fits the shape of the round beach ball. Once you finish with the next two triangles, you are going to let that dry for about 30 minutes to an hour so it crusts over. And the reason why we let these crust over is so that they will not blend into each other. Next, we're going to do the third color of pink. That last section will be filled in with white, so you'll let the pink crust over and then you'll fill it in with white. Now, once everything is crusted, you can add the center of the beach ball with the same flood consistency, white or any color you choose. And then you let that dry completely. I can sometimes put lettering on top of a beach ball when it's crusted over, but I really like to do it when it's completely dry in case I make an error. So here I'm going to use stiff consistency icing. You can do this in any color, and they wanted to put a hashtag on the beach ball. So here I just free-handed the writing. Like I said, you can do this in many different ways. You can use a projector, you can use an edible marker. There are so many ways you can do the writing, but here I just free-handed it. Once you are done with your lettering, you can add a border around your cookie. Here, once again, I use my flood consistency. This is why I like to have thick consistency flood icing, so I can use it for many reasons. And you just draw a circle around the cookie to add a nice smooth border. And then you are done with the beach ball. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the margarita cookie. Here, I actually free-handed this cut. I used a thick piece of paper and I cut out the shape, and I used an X-Acto knife over my dough to cut out the shape that I wanted. Here, I'm also going to be using a thick flood consistency icing and for all the colors. And first, I start out by tracing the outline of the cup, including the rim. And I'm going to make sure that I let that crust over so that the green margarita does not flow into the border that we have created. Once that's crusted over, I will use a flood consistency green icing. This is actually the same icing that I did the lettering for the beach ball, and I just made it thinner than the stiff consistency. And here you're going to fill in between the rim of the glass as well as the main part of the glass. Don't worry if the bottom part of your rim kind of gets covered up. We can fix that at the end. Next, I'm going to use a pink flood consistency. And here it is a little bit okay if you don't let the green crust over, because the straw kind of goes into the drink. So it's really up to you what look you want to go for. But I just piped the straw into the drink and up into the bottom part of the rim. And then I just let that dry completely. Here's where I touched up the rim of my glass because my flood actually went into each other from the top to the bottom. So here I got the same white flood consistency, and I just redid the rim of the glass to make it more prominent. And anywhere that you feel like needs extra lining to make it look smooth and nice, you can go ahead and do that here as well. Another cute little thing that you can do is, while the rim is wet and nothing else is wet, you can add some sugar to the rim so it looks like your margarita has some sugar or salt along the edge. And then you are done with your margarita glass. Finally, I'm going to show you how to make these sunglass cookies. Once again, I used stiff, thick paper to cut out a template for my cookie, and I used an X-Acto knife to trace around that paper to cut out the cookie dough before I bake it. And once again, for this cookie, I'm going to use all flood consistency icing, and I'm going to make my flood consistency icing thicker once again because I like the way it works with. And here I'm going to create the outline of the sunglasses, as well as the inner outline for where the glass part of the sunglasses is, and then I'm just going to flood in between all of the lines. Here, once I finished, I realized that the nose looked very strange, a little too skinny and a little too far apart. So I just added a little bit more icing before everything dried and crusted over. So let that dry, crust over for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then we were going to add the black for the lenses. So this is flood consistency icing, and I just flooded in the parts that I left blank when I did the outside rim of the glasses. If your icing isn't smoothing out well, you can use your scribe tool or tap it on the table. Finally, to add the reflection, I used flood while the black was still wet and added 2 little lines in the corners of the glasses to make it a reflection. And that is how you make the Beach Bachelorette cookies. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thanks so much.